Dave McIntosh here again. We have now come to Jerusalem, and there is so much to see here. In this video, we're going to visit a number of places just outside the old city. Let me start off by saying, when people talk about the city of Jerusalem, they talk about the new city, the old city, and the ancient city of Jerusalem. The old city has a wall around it, and it is where the tourists like to go when they come to the city. There are a number of places just outside the old city that are a part of the Bible text, and they're very important places that people also want to visit while they're in Jerusalem. And that's where we're going to travel to in this video. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to my channel. We are first going to travel from Bethlehem to Jerusalem by bus. It is a very cheap way to travel, though it is not luxury by any means. On our way to Jerusalem, we will need to cross a checkpoint, which is no problem for us with our passports, but any Palestinians need to have proper papers to make this trip. It is an enjoyable ride as we travel along the streets. The trip is about a half-hour ride and takes us right past the Jaffa Gate that goes into the old city and onto a bus depot on the north side of the old city, which is the end of our bus ride, and now we are going to walk from here. We are going to enter the old city at the Damascus Gate and walk through the old city. This time it is going to be a quick trip as we travel to the south side of the old city. On the way though, we will enjoy some of what the old city has to offer along the way to the Dung Gate, as we are going to visit the city of David, or the ancient city of Jerusalem, just south of the old city. As we walk south, down past some archaeological sites that show us some of what the ancient city looked like. Like most of the archaeological sites of that time period, there is a lot of stones showing the foundation and bottom of the walls of the buildings, along with columns related to the larger buildings. It is all very interesting, but would be a lot more interesting to someone who studies what it really all means. Before long, we are at the start of Hezekiah's Tunnel at Gihon Springs. From there, we walk down some stairs and go underground to where the tunnel starts. Hezekiah's Tunnel was dug by King Hezekiah's men to get water for the city during the siege of the city by the Assyrians several hundred years before Christ. The tunnel is more than 500 meters long and was dug through solid rock, which was an amazing feat of engineering at that time in history. We walked down and then waded in knee to thigh high water the length of the tunnel, which was dimly lit. The tunnel is very narrow, so we had to walk behind each other, and in places it had a low headroom, so not easy if you are at all claustrophobic. We needed to wear shoes or sandals we didn't care about. Walking in water that distance on sometimes slippery rocks was truly a unique experience. It is easy to be amazed by what people were able to do more than 2,000 years ago without the technology we have today. The tunnel ends near the pool of Siloam, a small little wading pool in size today, but very memorable. We are now going to travel up to the top of the Mount of Olives that's just east of the old city, and it is on the top of a pretty significant hill, and at the top is the Dominus Flevit Church. Outside of the church is a bit of a garden and a lookout, which is a fabulous place to look across the Kedron Valley and see the Temple Mount with the Alexa Mosque and the Dome of the Rock right there with the rest of the old city in behind them. We spent some time here taking in the views and reflecting on all that happened here. Then we walked down a very steep street towards the valley. On our left was a huge graveyard with hundreds of grave sites that people have paid huge amounts of money to be buried there, as it is where they think Jesus will return and take his people to heaven to be with him, and they want to be the first to be with Jesus. At the bottom of the hill is the Garden of Gethsemane, where Jesus often went with his disciples, and where he went the last night he was on earth with his disciples, and is where he was arrested. It is a small garden of olive trees today, and a great place to sit and meditate on what Jesus did on the cross. Right behind it is a beautiful church called the Church of All Nations. It has a huge mural on the gable over the entrance. Everywhere you look, there is something to think about and meditate on. From here, we are going to walk up a slope, past the street that goes up to the Lion's Gate. We're going to go on past that and around to the north side of the old city. From just north of the wall, only a couple of blocks, is the Garden Tomb, a site which is thought by some to be where Jesus was laid in the tomb. It is a beautiful garden area and lots of spots to sit and meditate. There is an ancient tomb on the site, which is very much like what he would have been laid in. Today, most people believe that the place where Jesus was buried is inside what is now the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, which is inside the old city, and we will visit it in our next video. The Garden Tomb area is still a popular place to go and remember what Jesus did. We are going to walk a couple more blocks north, and we are now in what is called East Jerusalem today. Here, we are going to visit the East Jerusalem Evangelical Church. It is a small, very old building with a garden around it of olive trees. It is where we went to worship while we were here. This man, Bashar Awad, grew up next door as a boy and later became the pastor here. He is now retired. He also started Bethlehem Bible College in Bethlehem. His influence on the Christian community in Israel has been tremendous. He is an amazing man and yet remains very humble. We spent time here with him and were able to worship with him. We also got to harvest the olives in the garden around the church while we were there and got to bring some pure olive oil from those olives we helped harvest home with us. I trust you enjoyed this time in Jerusalem. We will spend time inside the Old City in our next video. There's lots to see in this beautiful Old City of Jerusalem. So don't forget to come back in a couple of weeks for my next video as we visit inside the Old City of Jerusalem.